a due process.
Can you confirm to hear me, please?
Yes, I'm hearing you better.
Mr. Due process, please. I'm going to make you the host, so you end the meeting once.
I can't hear you.
I'm going to make you the host, so you end the meeting once you are done. Did you hear me?
Mr. Kevin, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I said I'm going to make you the host now. You end the meeting. I'm going to make you the host. You end the meeting once you are done.
Let me drop off and come back.
Mr. Due process, you are live now. Please start. I'm going to make you the
host. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Please confirm to hear me.
We can't. I can hear you. I don't know who's not hearing us.
I'm hearing the both of you, but Mr. Kevin is like the due process is not hearing you. The problem from due process area.
Please tell him that he has gone live, but I should start now. I'm making him the host, so he can end the meeting when he's done. I need to tend to other things.
Okay, due process, are you hearing me?
Yes. You know, when I slot in the device, I'm expecting.
Please turn your camera. Let it go horizontal. Please turn your camera.
Turn your camera.
That's what I want to do.
Please, you are live. Please tell him he's live now. You are live now. Please go ahead. I'm going to make you the host. You end the meeting when you are done.
All right. All right, sir. Good evening, everyone. Viewers worldwide, welcome to COPDEM People's Parliament. Here we discuss social political issues as they affect Nigerians on a daily basis. Viewers out there at the BBM, we appreciate your time for one small edition of the COPDEM People's Parliament. With me in the studio, I have Comrade Sunday Odegbe from Kwara State. Comrade, you are welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to always have you on board. Thank you. So while we anticipate the arrival of more guests to the studio to join us having this great discussion today, we'll be highlighting a number of topics that have been set aside for today's COPDEM People's Parliament. Team number one among them is 2027. Tinubu government won't give you power. You must be ready to take it, according to Rotimi Amechi, as the former governor of Rivers State. Number two on our item is increasing terrorism in Zamfara State. Another state of emergency is knocking. And remember, Zamfara State is a PDP state. So the whole thing is going strategic. Third on the item is the arrest of VDM. You are aware that last week VDM was arrested according to order by the GTB, where the EFCC stepped in to affect his arrest, and he has since then been in detention. But for us at the COPDEM People's Parliament, we are not just looking at the arrest. We are looking at the preceding events that was engulfing the social media platform that was taking over the conversation, which has to do with the arrest of Atiku Abubakar Issa, who was led allegation against Sheikh Tinubu for unleashing thugs on him that led to his kidnap, allegedly, somewhere around January. And the event that took place in Abuja by the NANS, that's the National Association of Nigerian Students, who were to carry out the inauguration and to accuse Sheikh Tinubu for organizing his talks again to unleash mayhem on the organizers of the NANS inauguration. And during the attacks that was orchestrated, there was former governor of Kano State in attendance, as well as the former governor of Kogi State, talking about Ibrahim Shakarau and Idris Wada of Kogi State, respectively. They were attacked during the incident at the NANS inauguration. Then third on our list for today is ADC as a credible alternative to Nigerian youths. Why is ADC a credible alternative to the Nigerian youth? All these reform discussions we'll be having tonight on the COPDEM People's Parliament. Mr. Sunday Debe, I'll be inviting you to join me on this discussion as we'll do justice to the aforementioned burning subject matter that is that have been attracting reactions from Nigeria across major social media platforms like X, Facebook, and even on the streets, Nigerians have been reacting. So that being said, Mr. Sunday Debe, while we anticipate other commentators to join us in the program, can you please make your thoughts known to us, what you feel about these topics that have been so raised for today's edition of COPDEM People's Parliament. Please unmute your mic and have your contribution. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Good evening once again, the due process.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Sunday Debe for Kwara State. Glad to be on the show, COPDEM People's Parliament.
Yeah, thank you. You see, to be candid, let me start from that number one that says 2027, Tinubu government won't give you power.
Yes.
You must be ready to take it by force. You see, if you really look at what happened in 2023, Tinubu was not in power at that time. And he maneuvered his way into power using the judiciary, INEC, and every source he could use to be in power in 2023 that brought him into power. So now that he's in power, this very man that made this, Rotimi Amechi, that made this statement, he is very right. Everyone must be ready to take power from this government in 2027. Every hand must be on deck. Because coupled with what is happening today, arresting people that they feel that they are working, they feel they are working for obedience movement and what have you, and that is what is bringing all this chaos in the country. This man has not done anything good for the citizens of this nation. And 2027 is still a bit far, but he has started his campaign on the ground. What does that tell us? Meaning, he wants to do everything he could to remain in power, to enable him to spend the second tenure.
Yes, hang on your thought, please. While we're talking about him already doing some background campaign activities, we will recall that Bola Ahmed Tinubu visited Katsina over the weekend, and the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, based on information that he left the state on the eve of his arrival. What's your reaction on that?
Please come again. The network was blinking.
Yes, the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, left Katsina State on the eve of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit. There were insinuations here and there that he's avoiding having a meeting with Bola Ahmed Tinubu in respect to not giving him any form of endorsement come 2027. What's your reaction to that?
Yes. My view to that is that Buhari himself, he is aware of what is happening in the country today, that the country is not well governed as he expected it to be. I'm looking at it that Buhari is trying to avoid Tinubu in all mix. He don't want to, because if you look at the past, he have given advice to Tinubu on many occasions on how to run this government. Like Tinubu never want to hearken to the voice of Buhari. That is my view. It's like as we speak now, Buhari is trying to avoid him at all costs. He never want to have anything to do with him. Because if you look at the group of people Buhari is having meeting with now, all their discussions, because I do follow up, all their discussion and everything, he don't want to discuss anything that have to do with Tinubu. But Tinubu is trying to, bring him on board. Like the man is already fed up with him. That is the way I view it. Thank you.
Yes, in follow-up to that, if you observe previously, most presidents do host different former head of states, almost like a monthly ritual where they visit, probably to share ideas and way forward. But looking at Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which are the former head of states can you actually say he has been a good time by visiting him in the villa to have a roundtable discussion? Most people are becoming skeptical because even if not for anyone, personalities like the former president Goodluck Jonathan have been known for exchanging goodwill with previous administration like that of Muhammadu Buhari, despite being the government that took over from him. But in this case, he has also went cold. He has not been regular in the villa, as it were. All this points to endorsement that have been withdrawn from Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And they will all have their way of playing out against 2027. That being said, Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the moment should concentrate on the current happenings across the country. He should concentrate on governance and not politics. He should look at providing Nigerians security of lives and property, not just entangling himself with 2027. I believe the Nigerians that I know that are starved of good governance, should they have any iota of good governance, they will replicate greatly by giving him a second chance. But as it stands, in the midst of hunger, insecurity, bad government policies, increasing tax, and what have you, I don't expect the Nigerian people giving him yet a second chance. Do you agree too, Mr. Sunday?
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you because if you look at what is happening in the country deeply, you'll be able to understand that this government, like I do say, and I'm still saying it today, I have not been able to record any good things this government have done for the people. You know, giving him another time, another tenure to continue. If we are just spent nearly 2 years or thereabouts now, and people are dying, people are crying. For him to spend the balance 2 years and another 4 years, you know what that means? This man,
that will be too disastrous on Nigerians.
I am telling you, because now, if we were to be, we know everything about this very man. We know everything about the people he's bringing into government, like, Senator, what do you call, Akpabio, Wike, and all of that are working with this man. None of them have a clear record among them.
Indeed.
So if there could be some people that want to even use wisdom, even they are corrupt, let's assume at least they are corrupt and they want to use wisdom for this first time, we are not supposed to be using two hands to pack this money they are packing. They are just after themselves, after their family, and they don't care about any other thing concerning anybody in this country. Where if the terrorists are killing people, people are hungry, or what have you, is none of their business. But they're supposed to, if there are to be some leaders that are corrupt, they will say, okay, this first tenure, let them run it well. The second tenure, maybe people will vote for them, so that they can continue to do their dubious, activities. But for the very first tenure, not even up to a week, they started looting. That is the truth. It's not allegedly, this is what is happening. And that is the truth. So now tell me, if this government and this group of people complete their tenure in 2027 and continue another tenure, my brother, I am telling you, terrorists will take over everywhere. And that is their aim, because I know these hungry terrorists we are seeing that look like they are not eating anything. It's telling us that money they are collecting as ransom from people, it does not belong to them. If those money belong to them, they would not look, tattered the way they look. So there are people sponsoring this group of people. They never want this country to be better. So my brother, come 2027, from now on, everybody that wants a better Nigeria should continue to prepare the way for us to take back our country.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Sunday Odegbe from Kwara State. We thank you for your marvelous contribution to COPDEM People's Parliament today's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is COPDEM People's Parliament, the continuation of a series of programs we've been holding in the past to dissect the socio-political matters as they affect people in the country. Mr. David Sunday, Mr. Abonifo John from Edo State. Welcome to COPDEM People's Parliament. Madam Grace, we're glad to have you again. You've been a regular on this program. Thanks for joining us. And I don't know if you want to have a contribution on this subject matter that is so introduced please feel free to unmute and have a contribution. Today's topic, like I've been earlier discussed, is Tinubu 2027. I mean, 2027, Tinubu won't give you power. You must be ready to take it. Rotimi Amici. He made that declaration and is making the rounds of social media. Another one is increasing terrorism in our states. Another state of emergency is nothing. Then the third on our list is arrest of VDM. VDM has been arrested and a lot of reactions are pouring in. But to us at COPDEM People's Parliament, we are not looking at it in that regard. Rather, we are seeing it as a distraction to Comrade Atiku Abubakar Issa alleged kidnap by Sheikh Tinubu. Then number 4 is 2027. ADC as a credible alternative. What makes ADC a credible alternative? Please, Mr. John Agonikpo, feel free to leverage on any of the topics you want to discuss upon. Welcome to COPDEM People's Parliament.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ako. I think I want to add my voice to Mr. Sunday Degbe on this number 1 item on the list. You see, I think I want to agree to this assertion by Mr. Rotimi Amici, because if Tinubu is, if the president, Mr. Ahmed Tinubu, is ready for a free and fair election, which is an indication that anybody that wins can take power, then by now we would have been seeing efforts, concrete efforts towards very formidable electoral reforms that will ensure that will prepare INEC for the conduct of a very credible election, unlike what we saw in 2023 when there was no transmission of the presidential result. But right now, nobody is talking about perfection of that electoral system. Nobody is talking about a review of that electoral system in a way that by 2027 we'll have impeccable results, and a clear winner can easily be determined without argument and chaos. So, in as much as these factors are not there as we speak, and considering all what we went through in 2023, this administration was not in government yet when some people were already claiming legitimacy of ownership, as in Emiloku. I'm sure you can remember the phrase Emiloku, which indicates that it is my turn. At that point, this administration was not on yet. So if turns were being claimed at that time, so you can imagine what it can be now. So it's going to be a continuation of completion of my turn, as far as I'm concerned. So in that regard, Nigerians should be properly prepared. And just to add to that too, you will note that recently INEC did say that they might not conduct 2027 election using the beavers. They have already started saying that. So that means that we are going to shift away from that seemingly accurate way of conducting election and go back to the coordinated way that we have adopted in the past, which gives you a very chaotic result. So all of that are issues for concerns for Nigerians at this point. And it is good that we are on our toes and we are very watchful to be sure that we actually practice democracy the way it should be done. So thank you, Mr. Akoda, for my contribution at this point, and I'll allow others to contribute.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you. Let me go by what Mr. Agbonifo have just said. I just want to buttress this. This is a very key point. You see, if there is no electoral reform, a tangible electoral reform in 2027, my brother, it is not going to be easy for the people to get it done. This issue of they are no longer going to use, I even heard that they're not going to use a voter's card or what have you. They want to use other mix. We don't know what they are coming out with. You see, all of this is a scam. They are preparing to put a scam ahead of us. So electoral reform is a better electoral reform is a way to go, you know, so that at the end of the day, we'll not continue to be hearing glitch and what have you. There's no transmission and all of that. So I want to advise the civil society group, all the people that are speaking good for the country, to come on board, to continue to be emphasizing on this aspect, that there should be electoral reform, so that these people will not, repeat what they have done in 2023. Thank you, Mr. Agbonifo. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Ultimately, electoral reform is the front burner of most most political actors. In the meantime, projecting, discussing about electoral reform, because when we say electoral reform, it's not that it is, but it's about documenting the pathway from beginning of the voting to the collation center, how it should be done. Making it documented so that there will be no argument at the collation center as to what was done right or what was done wrongly. Should the, from ECHA be uploaded directly from the polling units, we will not be having this argument. And should the IREC be graciously utilized, we will not be having this argument. A lot of billions of naira were earmarked and budgeted and released for this IREV technology. So the INEC have no option for turning it down. They're turning it down on what basis? Is it that it failed to perform? We all know what happened in 2023. The INEC switched off the server. So the technology did not fail. And they have no option to discontinue the use of beavers. Beavers must continue to stand because beavers is the game changer. Beavers reduce mutilation of votes. Beavers reduce voters suppression. Beavers was able to control votes manipulation, especially where the number of persons that votes unduly increased in order to change or maneuver the voting outcome at the end of the day. So beavers has to stay. As a matter of fact, there is no going back on beavers. Rather, Nigerians are calling for a digitalized collation. Not just the INEC chairman sitting on the paper and making an announcement. There should be digitalized reports trickling in from the state through the IREG, and that will be projected live so that everybody will be seeing it as it's going in real time. That's the whole essence of the electoral reform that we are conversing for. And as we're approaching 2027, the discussion will be focusing more on electoral reform. Because without electoral reform, I don't see 2027 going pitch-free. Without electoral reform, 2027 may be too dowsy. 2027 may be too crowded and too rowdy for any electoral umpire to manage. And 2027 may end up in anarchy if there is no electoral reform. So the only way to avert anarchy in Nigeria is to ensure that there is electoral reform. That's from the COPDEM People's Parliament. And I don't know, our guest in the studio, in their Zoom, would you want to have your contribution on the other two topics? We have increasing terrorism, all the way at Zamfara State, where communities have been sacked and the state government has been accused, allegedly, for releasing over 10 billion naira for PR in order to some of the deaths being done by these terrorists. So if you want to have a discussion briefly on the terrorism activities taking over the entire Zamfara state and the 2027 ADC being a credible alternative, these are the two topics that have not been actually dealt with. Please, if you want to have a contribution on these two topics, before we wrap up today's episode of COPDEM People's Parliament, please unmute and have a say. Thank you. We have a regular guest in this studio, and she's never made a contribution. She's a good listener all along. We'll be glad if you can have your contribution, please. Madam Grace. Again, since she's not close to the phone. So, Mr. David Sunday and Comrade Sunday, Comrade David Sunday and Mr. Bonifor John from Edo State. You can please have your thoughts on these two topics that have not been touched. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You see, on the area of increasing terrorism in Zamfara State, state of emergency
taken over by terrorists.
Yes, you see, this is the area. This is why I was saying the other time. This is the area the federal government to be focused on. If they cannot handle these issues of terrorism in Nigeria, especially Zamfara State, because I can see that Zamfara State is leading today when you talk of terrorism. The government needs to declare a state of emergency to do all necessary things they could. I think, if I could remember vividly, there was a country, entire country in the past, I cannot remember the name of this very country, that was shut down to be able to tackle terrorism. Now, in a state like Zamfara State, the federal government needs to collaborate with the state government to do the needful, declare a state of emergency, shut down the state for a period, even for a week. It cannot break down this country. So by doing that, the military or the security agencies need to use that space of time to be able to capture the forests surrounding the states. Whoever found in that environment should be dealt with accordingly. That is the way to go. But
Mr. Sunday,
yeah,
do you believe that the federal government is truly involved in fighting terrorism in Nigeria?
if
These states that are under terrorist attack, there has been consistent gold mining in Zamfara State.
yes.
So in a community or in a state where there is terrorism taking over everywhere, how do these miners settle down in the forest to dig this gold?
This is a very big question. That's what I'm saying. I said some of our big guys in this country are involved. And we all know this. They are involved in sponsoring this terrorism of a thing to be able to to carry on their illegal minings. So they use that to distract people so that their business will continue. That is what they are doing. So if the government could not be able to handle it, I don't know if we are in a good term with, with the foreign body. I don't know if we are in a good term with them. At least if we cannot be able to handle it, there are some countries they invite the international community to come and assist us to fight the terrorism.
Mr. Sunday, the international
Yes.
community is not your friend.
Good.
Are you immune to what has, are you not aware of what has been happening across Africa?
Yes, I am aware of
the community that you want to invite are the same international community that are fighting Ibrahim Traore.
Yes, my brother. Let me
are happy and celebrating on a daily basis. So
yes,
international community is not your friend.
You are correct.
Africa
let me come in.
To be tackled by Africans.
Yes, let me come in. You see, there are some countries that are very, they are focusing on Africa. They get everything they have from Africa, like United States of America, to be specific, France, and some other countries like that. But there are still some, we can invite that we are very friendly with, that we can say, okay, they have this. What is affecting us? To be sincere, let me tell you, what is affecting us is because
when you have puppets, leaders that don't know their left and right, leaders that do not win election, leaders that bought office, that bought their way through the villa. That's the problem that is facing Nigeria. And Nigeria is a huge challenge to Africa as a continent. Should Nigeria get it right, Africa will get it right.
No.
Please, can I come in?
Analyze. Okay. Let me pause so that Mr. Bonifo come in.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Sunday, for all your comments. Now, you're speaking, something crossed my mind. You see, sometimes all of this that we see in this country seem to be like a joke, especially in the recent times. Now, don't forget that there was a time that the Nigerian military was a rescue for every other country where there was trouble. In the era when we used to have ECOMOG, have you forgotten how Nigerian military have gone to other countries to rescue them out of trouble? So if at that time we were able to do that, and all the other countries in Africa depended on Nigeria for rescue and support, how come now we cannot even support ourselves? We cannot even solve our own problem. So if you look at the way the Nigerian army has been before now, and look at what is happening now, you will have that to believe that some of these things are actually political. But what is most baffling is the inability of the people who are expected to counter the people who are expected to be custodians of the interest of Nigerians are all concerned about what is happening around, and the poor masses is the one that is suffering all of these shenanigans at the end of the day. So it's quite unfortunate. When you discuss some of these things, it becomes very, very, very saddened, and very saddened and frustrating. I just need to add that.
Yes, thank you. Well, before you come in, Mr. Due Process, let me just add to what Mr. Agbonifo have said. Mr. Agbonifo, let me, what you said is correct. ECOMOG, we all know ECOMOG is a Liberia stuff. Nigerian soldiers were deployed there, even to Liberia and to some other countries too, to maintain peace in those places, But that was then. Technological have taken over everywhere today. It's like Nigeria. Like I read one book the other time. Do you know? I read one book. I understand that when you come to face-to-face shooting, Nigeria soldiers are leading. They are one of the top leading in face-to-face shooting across the globe. But technology have taken over, everywhere. So Nigeria supposed to have go along with those countries that, look, let me cite an example. There was an American citizen that was kidnapped in Nigeria. You heard the story. He was kidnapped. He was in the midst of the kidnappers, other Nigeria victims. Now, the American citizen came and picked their citizen alone out of that place. That's technology. We don't have all of that. That is what is affecting us. It's not as if our soldiers are not good enough. They are good. That is it. So, Mr. Due Process, let me give my mind.
Have you bothered to ask yourself, why is it we don't have that technology? Is it that we cannot afford it? The answer is no. There is a deliberate agenda to keep Nigeria in terrorism. If this is not settled, and the government is something the government can do, if by today the government determines that by tomorrow there should be no single gunshot, not to talk of a bomb, is something that the Nigerian government can do. There is a whole lot of power vested on the Nigerian president. He can make declaration and that will stand. Look at, I watched a video the other day where the terrorists were encircled at Sambisa Forest. The video trended online for a while. That's something that the Nigerian Air Force can just go in the air and take them from the air. Within a space of 30 minutes, the whole of those people will be gone. But the Nigerian government is not ready. They are lying to Nigerians. They've not shown that sincerity. As a matter of fact, Abacha has said, if there is an insecurity in the country, for 24 hours, the government have a hand in it. So let's not pretend about it. The Nigerian government is not ready. They are not interested in the plight of the locals, the farmers, the local inhabitants who are living their ancestral homes. And this whole thing accumulates into the hunger that is affecting Nigerians generally, because the farmers cannot go to farm. They've been chased away by terrorists, by what they call bandits. You and I know they are terrorists. No sensible government will continue with this rehabilitation of terrorists. Can you rehabilitate a terrorist? Someone who has made up his mind to kill, to cause mayhem. You say you are rehabilitating, within 3 months, you are rehabilitated. Who does that? The American government, when they lay hand on terrorists, they built a camp. You know, they built a camp and isolated them for years. But Nigerian government, check our prisons. Innocent people waiting for trial. The terrorists are not there. They've all been released under the guise of repentant terror. Repentant Boko Haram. So
your network is blinking.
Until we are ready as a people, we cannot make progress. We'll continue to suffer it. There's a video making the rounds on social media where some of these people, that are being called hunters, ignorantly. These Fulanians, these terrorists, celebrating with the hands of their victim that they have cut off. The hand, the leg of their victim that they kidnapped. They cut the hand, cut the leg, and they were using it as video show. They did not hide their faces. But very dark man is languishing in police custody. If it's real, I don't know. If it's a setup to distract Nigerians from Tinubu's alleged kidnap of Comrade Atiku Abubakar Issa, I don't know which one. But then, essentially, Nigerian who are vocal to speak against the Nigerian government usually get arrested, detained, in attempt to silence all opposing voices. And that's justified the assertion that Nigeria is sliding into a one-party state. Nigeria as it is already in a one-party state. The PDP governors who you expect to play the role of governors as well as mounting pressure on the federal government to do the needful for their people, for the country, they are all marching towards what? APC. So Tinubu now is making all effort to see that Nigerians generally are all in it. Who does that? Even in a family, there should be opportunity for opposing voices. Because opposition brings out the beauty in democracy. The whole country cannot bow to APC. Never. Some of us will never do that. Because they have not convinced us with good governance. They have rewarded our people with killings, with bloodshed, with IDPs, with hunger, starvation, bad government. And will never bow to pressure. We'll continue to stand our ground and continue to sound the warning to Nigerians never to fall again for atheists because they have not shown us the light. If you want a child to love you, you show him or her love. The APC government since 2015 until this moment, they have not shown the people love. Rather, our people have been killed mercilessly. They have been kidnapped. They have been suffering, hunger, starvation, hopelessness, unemployment, everything that has to do with hopelessness. Come to Nigeria, you have witnessed it. So on this note, I will be wrapping up today's program on the COPDEM People's Parliament. It's been a very tense conversation because the country is burning. And we cannot pretend to be nice to the Nigerian government because they are not performing. They perform poorly. So we have to be very critical against the Nigerian government so they can wake up and serve the people of this country. Because they are sworn to an oath to protect the lives and property of Nigerians. That's the #1 oath that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has taken. He took the oath on the 29th of May, assuring Nigerians that their lives and properties will be saved. But today, do we have that? The answer is obviously no. So since any government that fails to provide security of lives and property does not deserve to be there in the first place. As a matter of fact, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a sensible person, a sensible human, you have to be human before you can lead. If he is a sensible human, he should resign. Resign his position as the president of Nigeria because he has failed woefully. On this note, we'll be wrapping up today's COPDEM People's Parliament. We'll come your way tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Looking forward to have a very interesting and engaging conversation. Thank you, our guests, for being part of today's program. Thank you, viewers out there via the DM. We appreciate your time. See you same time tomorrow, every weekdays, Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m.